Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3. So sorry there wasn't any videos over the last couple days. You might have seen something on this or experienced it yourself, but there was a broken patch. So on Wednesday I recorded 2 videos, but through those 2 videos I was experiencing constant crashes. I don't know, maybe like 10 crashes over the course of those like 2 hours or so. So it was kind of a mess for editing because I had to constantly redo sections because obviously I was not quick saving enough with this being a let's play. I really should have been quick save more. I generally do when I play off camera. But yeah, I always forget to quick save when I'm recording here. And so I had to constantly redo sections and then cut that out. And then one of the videos was really short because I didn't estimate the time that I had lost well enough. And so those videos were a mess. And then on top of that, and this might have been where some of you guys experienced it, I saw it in my off-camera playthrough, is that the save was so broken that Larian had to roll it back to the old patch. And so if you had made any saves on that patch 4, then you couldn't access those saves because they're considered not compatible. And so for like a whole day, basically nobody could use their saves if you had a save on patch 4. Now you could go back to the patch 3 versions that you had and then continue to play on that. Some people lost quite a bit of game time if they didn't want to wait for the fixed patch, which Larian did put out pretty quick. It was less than 2 days later. It was like the next day when they had gotten a new patch out after they had put it back to patch 3. And so I think it was Thursday when they put the new patch 4 out that had fixed the issues, and you're able to then re-access your patch 4 saves. And so as long as you didn't wait, you didn't lose anything. But if you wanted to play on Wednesday, then basically you had to revert back to one of your older saves. So yeah, it was a major issue. Larian said that they've changed up their practices for patching so that they won't run into this again. But yeah, that patch was a mess, guys. It caused all kinds of problems. So that was unfortunate because this is likely going to be the last video in the series. Not just because of that, that was a pain in the butt, but I wouldn't have ended the series for that, but mostly because of how unpopular the series has been. And I'm not talking about in views. I expected it to not do well in views. I think I had said that in earlier videos, that I didn't think that a lot of people would watch this series, and they haven't. But again, I didn't expect that. I'm playing it because I really enjoy this game, and I wanted to show it to you guys. But the problem has been that there has been a lot of people unsubscribing to the channel because of the series. And I know it's because of the series because they're unsubscribing on the actual videos. And I've never really seen anything like this on my channel outside of when I had done a couple political vlogs where I at least talked about politics. And I lost several hundred subscribers when I did those, and that's to be expected. But I did not anticipate to see the same thing here with Baldur's Gate, of all things. But I've been having with each episode, about 10 to 15 people unsubscribing from the channel. And it doesn't seem like a lot of people, especially when you look at the overall numbers I have with like over 77,000. But again, I've never seen that before in any series before, where people are actually unsubscribing on that particular series. And it has resulted in about the same number of people unsubscribing every day as the amount of subscriptions that we get. And so over the last 2 weeks since I started this series, we've only gained, I think, like 30 subscribers because, that's our actual net gain. And so again, that's pretty bad. And I'm not entirely sure exactly why that is. It could be because people are sick of seeing Baldur's Gate. It's kind of everywhere. So, they're seeing it in their feed, and so they don't want to, and so they're unsubscribing for that reason. And I think it's because, we have two different audiences on this channel. And this series doesn't really serve either audience. About 2/3 of our audience are here for my solo content, where I always play strategy games. Other than this series here, I've only done one other game that wasn't a strategy game. That was Prison Simulator. While this game does have the turn-based tactical battles, nobody would confuse this with a strategy game. It's an RPG. So yeah, it definitely doesn't serve that audience. And then the other third of our audience are those who like the co-hosted content that I do with HiJynx, where we generally almost always play on console, and we'll play a wide variety of games. But the difference there is that with HiJynx in the commentary, it's much lighter. much lighter tone, and it just feels different with the conversation. And so many of those people who watch that type of content do not watch my solo content. Now, there are people who are in both of these audience groups. There's a little bit of bleed through there where some people like both of the styles of content, but in general, they are two separate audiences. It's really not the best way to do a channel. If I could go back and redo everything, we probably would have had two separate channels, one for the solo strategy content, and then one for the P+J stuff that we do together. But we built the channel doing it this way, been doing it for years now, and so it is what it is. But this game here in this series does not, serve either of those audiences. So I think that's what the main issue is. The Jinx is not in it, which is a shame, but generally she doesn't join us in the PC series because it's really uncomfortable for us to record on the PC. We prefer to record on the couch together, and while we could do that with this series using a controller, it's a PC series, so people expect mouse and keyboard, and we actually did try and do that. We were going to do that with the split screen co-op, but of course that didn't work out because split screen was an absolute mess. So I think that series would have done better. But yeah, unfortunately, the views are very low for this series. Again, I don't think that's unexpected, but the number of people unsubscribing, that kind of is a problem. And I almost didn't even want to put this video out, guys, because again, every time I put out one of these videos, several people, like a dozen or so, unsubscribe. And so yeah, I didn't really want to even put this one out, but I didn't want to leave people not knowing, because there are a few of you, there's a couple hundred people watching this. I didn't want you guys to not know that I'm ending it, just kind of leave it on a cliffhanger as well, with the mirror and what's behind it, since I said there's some interesting stuff. So yeah, I wanted to at least finish up this section here. Now, there will still be a few more Baldur's Gate videos. Some of them might even be with this campaign here. But yeah, there's a couple things I still wanted to show before we end our coverage of the PC version of the game. So expect a few more of those videos like the ones that I've already put out, most of which probably won't have commentary, though a couple of them I'm considering doing commentary for those ones. But yeah, there'll be a few more BG3 videos. And then, of course, when the console version comes out, which will be September 3rd, is when you get the early access to it if you pre-order, which is what we intend to do. So that video should come out that Sunday or Monday, so September 3rd or September 4th is our plan. And so we will be doing that. That'll be a co-op split-screen series, much like what we did with Divinity 2. And I'm hoping that'll be more popular because it does serve a part of our audience, those who like the co-hosted series. And also, these type of games generally do far, far better on console for us. There's just too much competition on PC, and I know a few people bought the game because of this series, so I'm glad I got to show those of you who did a game that I think is amazing. Alright, that's enough of me jabbering. Let's go ahead and get this started. Let's interact with the ornate mirror.
Speak your name. My master was human, pure and true. You are not Ilintoth. If you are his ally, step forward and declare it. Only a true ally of Ilintoth may pass. What think you of the Zolkir known as Zastam?
You remember stories of Zastam, a powerful lich in Thay who made deals with dark gods.
You are no Zolkir, but are you wise? Tell me, why might one use balsam ointment? Acceptable, finally. If you could see anything in me, what would it be? You seek to survive. You seek power. Be welcome.
Alright. So you gotta answer in those very specific ways for that to work. Or else the mirror will spawn this little floating ball thing that will explode everywhere, including waking up all those skellies if you hadn't killed them already. And so yeah, it can be a real problem. It can actually cause all your people to die fairly quick because it just floats around just exploding over and over again, causing severe damage. But yeah, there's a whole storyline back here. Remember, this is just in that village where we just went into this random building here that we didn't have to go into. And you're going to see this constantly with this game. You know, there are people who are finishing the game in like 80 hours. And you can certainly do that, but you are missing a significant amount of content if you do. Because you're clearly not wandering around enough, not looking around, and you can play the game however you want. Maybe that's how you want to play the game. The game lets you do that, lets you kind of just skip through it real quick. And we just stepped on a trap here. Let's go ahead and disarm that. Well, we might be able to disarm it. Not used to having an avatar here who can do it. We'll go ahead and do the guidance. But my avatar, the sorcerer, would fail in any attempt to disarm anything. He's terrible at that kind of stuff.
How much further?
But yeah, you can finish the game super quick if you want to. I mean, obviously 80 hours is not super quick, but it is fairly quick for a game like this. This is a really good one. The Bracer's Defense, I still got some people using this well into the game. So that's one we'll definitely want to equip onto somebody. So I like the Gloves of Missile Snaring. And this is only effective if you're not using armor. So I don't think we have anybody here that this would work for, but it's great for mages. So you might want to put that on Gale. Or if you have Will not wearing armor and using like mage armor or something like that instead, then that's a really good option. Or if your avatar character is a mage. Yeah, it's super helpful just boosting up your armor class. But yeah, you could beat the game again. What is fairly quick for a game like this, because I'm almost 80 hours in, and I'm not even remotely close to finishing the game. I haven't even made it to Baldur's Gate yet, so I'm not even close to finishing the game. And I read a review. I can't recall whose review it was. Maybe PC Gamer, and he said it took him like 160 hours to beat the game. And I think that's probably the amount of time it'll take for someone who plays the way I do, where you just try and see and do everything that you can, just looking in every corner for goodies and for story content. Yeah, it's just an absolutely massive game because of stuff like this. This is all side content, and it's not just like throwaway side content. In fact, I have not really seen anything like that. Like, I don't recall having a single mission where somebody told me to like kill 10 bears or anything like that. There's just not that type of content in this game. All of it is meaningful in some way, and some of it's far more meaningful than you would expect. Like little side content that, again, it's not stuff that the story would lead you. It's not something that you have to do. It's something you can easily miss, and yet it can play this a massive role in the game, including in the main story. And it's really surprising how the developers are not afraid to let you miss major content. It's just not something you generally see in today's era, where, I mean, you've got the Ubisoft model where they want to mark everything on your map so you don't miss anything, and so it feels like you're just moving from map marker to map marker, and that's just something you don't see in this game. Obviously you can't see the main map here, but yeah, there's barely any map markers in this game. Alright, so we need to get into this here. So we're gonna lockpick it. There might be a switch somewhere, I don't know. We're just gonna lockpick it. And this is where the key part of this area is this here book. Now we have to disarm the plate first, or else it sets off these two gargoyles here, which it looks like we did not. Our perception did not check. Oh, there we go. Looks like Astarian's seen it. Might need to use Astarian for this, because I know he's a bit better at this type of stuff than we are. And yeah, we just set this off, so had to waste an inspiration there. We don't really need to disarm these, but The key is disarming the marble plate. And we just keep hitting ones here. Well, it's a good thing this is the final video. I'm using all my inspirations for these, just to avoid these traps here. But this is the book we're in here for. The Necromancy of Thay.
The book is locked tight with no visible keyhole, only an oval recess in the cover's mouth. You try to examine the book, but the longer you stare, the more those piercing amethyst eyes draw you in.
A cursed book. How obvious. Whoever opens it deserves the fate that befalls them.
Curious. Why don't you take a closer look? I'll observe from back here.
That looks terribly heavy. Why don't you let me carry it for you?
Alright, so I want to interact with that again. We'll do that out here, away from all the traps.
Best avoid that trap.
Yes, it seems we don't have any other ways to interact with it because we are not a sorcerer. So that went very differently for my character, because as a sorcerer, they can pretty much just, interact with any kind of magical item in a different way than other characters can. I don't know if wizards can do it, because I'm playing as a wizard, or warlocks, or if it's specific to sorcerers. But yeah, that went quite a bit different. I was able to interact with the book immediately. Now, there's still a way to access this book even if you're not a sorcerer. And even the sorcerer will need to do this to a degree because they can only get to a certain section of the book. And so that is actually in here. And we'll go take a look at that real quick since, we don't want to get into anything too serious here in today's episode. Might we'll go do something up there because we got some time. Hasn't been a long video. If we can get in here easy enough, I'll show you guys. We're not going to do this though because this would take a while, but I'll show you guys where to go at least. So you go through here. There's all kinds of stuff to loot in here. There's a lot of the thief's tools. Quite a bit of thief's tools in here, which I thought was interesting. Also, there's this forge here where you can make an item. If you can get, you got to get something from a tree, like the bark of a tree or whatever. This tree is in the Underdark. So we can turn this on and we can get it nice and hot. And then you can see that we can combine an item, but we don't have the item that we need. I believe we'd find that if we kind of looked around here, you'd find something that tells you what you need.
Look at that.
But you won't be able to get that anywhere close to where we're at. We would have to go into the Underdark in order to get it. And we don't have will. So I don't know if we have an easy way to access this. Do we got a bomb or anything? Not entirely sure what we have with this character. Might not have a way to easily blow this open because the cracked wall, you need to use the force resistance. Piercing might work. We can try it. Yeah, looks like piercing would work. If it was a stronger wall, it would not. We'd have to use force. Yeah, you go through here, and this is a spider's lair. Like phase spiders or something like that.
Those webs carry vibrations.
Yeah, if you go on the web, and then that lets them know you're here, and they'll come and attack you. And not to mention the fact that you can get webbed up by it and stuck on it. They've got some other type of enemies that like carry little spiders on them. I don't know if we'll be able to see that if we kind of move ahead a little bit. Yeah, that's them right there. You can barely see them. See if there's a closer one. So you guys get a better look. Here he is. Trying to like click on him so we can see the infestation here, but now we can't get him. But you can see him there. And he's like infested with little spiders that will get all over your characters. But yeah, you go all the way through there, and then I don't know, she's called like a matriarch or something. The big mama spider. She'll be protecting an item. Or she's not protecting it, but the item is there where she's at.
There are traps here.
And that item will allow you to access the book. But Yeah, even as the sorcerer, I was only able to get to a certain part of the book. And I had to succeed in several rolls to get there. And then I still needed to go in there to be able to access the rest of it. And there's still more to it as well that I haven't accessed. I think I got to get further in the game to be able to do so. But yeah, there's just a little random room that the game doesn't direct you to. You don't have to go there. You'd have to like see it first of all, and then go down there, and then you got to, you know, get through the little secret entrance, and you got to get through the mirror, and it's basically an entire side mission that is never really directed to you. You got to do multiple things to get to, and you'll see that throughout the entire game. There's just tons and tons of content like that, and that you're just not directed to, that you need to find. And I think that's a really good example of it, and you'll see it all throughout this game. It's really incredible the way they did it. I haven't seen too much of that in RPGs outside of some of the greats. You know, Witcher 3 had that. Yeah, we'll go and interact with this mission as well. There's this gnome. We'll see him coming. One of these here. There he is. Tied on to this windmill. And so, yeah, they got him spinning around. And that character, again, this character you could just completely miss. You'll constantly interact with him if he survives this, which he might not. In fact, you could. There's a button over here. You could just fling him off, and then you never see him again. I would assume he dies because it gets flung pretty far. Or you can save him there, and then you'll see him throughout the story. He'll constantly be popping up, and you'll see that with all the characters you interact with. I'm just shocked with how often you see these characters that seem like they're just side characters. Some like little kid in that tiefling settlement. You'll see some little kid there, not really think much of it. And then if they survive, you know, their interactions with you, which they might not, if they do, then you're going to see them over and over again. It's incredible. So let's actually go ahead and talk to Withers here.
Another.
And let's just skip through his commentary here.
For whenever
because I said I was going to do this as well, and it's something I never did. And I wanted to show it. The changing of the classes, the reclassing. I said I was going to do it with Shadowheart, so let's go ahead and do it real quick. So we're going to keep her as a cleric. Her cantrips will probably leave as is. Yeah, these are probably the best ones for her to have. But what we're going to do is change her from the trickery domain, which does fit for Shar. But since we're using it as a healer, I mean, if you just look at the difference here. So this is her action, Blessing of the Trickster. Grant another creature advantage on stealth checks. Yeah, sure, that's great when you're stealthing around. But there's other ways to get advantage on stealth checks. And, you know, you get the Charm Person. Disguise Self, that's useful sometimes. The only use I have found for it thus far is when you're using the Talk to Dead spell. I had mentioned earlier in the series that if you murdered somebody, sometimes they won't talk to you. Well, if you disguise yourself as somebody else, then they won't know that you're the murderer, and then you can actually use the Talk to Dead to get information from them, despite the fact that you're the one who murdered them. So that has been a use for it. There's also the fact that you can change to other races and then get the interactions, the dialogue options from being that race, but you don't really know what you're going to get, and you're missing the interactions you'd get from being your own race. So outside like specific situations where being a certain race can help you, and you know beforehand that it would help you, I don't really see that being all that useful. Really, the Disguise Self, again, it's not a useless spell, but not the most useful, considering what the other domains do. Charm Person, that can be helpful as well, but there's other ways to get this too. In fact, you can get the Charm Person through any of these domains. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the life domain, and here you'll see we're getting two things that we can already get, but the other subclass features that we get are really helpful. So this one here, when casting a healing spell, the target regains additional hit points equal to 2+ the spell's level, so you're going to be a better healer. Also, these are better versions as well, but it's the later stuff that you unlock that I find really helpful. And then in addition to changing up the subclass, you might want to change up where their ability points are placed. They're not always in the best areas for that particular character, so we might want to like change this up. We're not going to do that, of course, because it doesn't really matter since this series is ending, but you can also change up their skills too. though in this particular case there's not really many options to make. You can just take away one of these and put it into persuasion instead. But yeah, you can just clear this and reassign these, which generally you will want to, because they're not specific to the character. I noticed it seems that the ability points they get are the same ones that you would get as a cleric, just as a regular cleric. If you created a cleric, these would be the points that would be assigned and how they'd be assigned. It's not based on a Shadowheart, which I think that's interesting. I wish they would have more specific ability points for the character and to reflect them. So like you'll have Shadowheart's, an idiot basically. She has really low intelligence, doesn't really make a lot of sense for a character. Of course, as a cleric though, you don't really need the intelligence for the most part. But yeah, so you can change those up. We're not going to do that though. And of course, once you do that, then you need to move through all the level ups you got. So if you're reclassing somebody who's like, let's say level 8, then reclassing takes a long time because you got to go through all the levels here. But I did want to show that, with the Channel Divinity, we're going to get different abilities here. We still have the Turn Undead that we had before, but now we get the Preserve Life. So evoke a healing energy that restores your allies. This heals all your allies. Now the 3 healing is not significant, but that gets a lot higher. I think where I'm at it's like 22 healing or something like that. And that's for every one of your allies. And then these are the spells that we currently have access to. Let's move through into level 3. And then you can see the life domain spells have upgraded here. Yeah, I think we already knew these, but that aid spell can be really useful when you cast it at higher levels, because at this point we've just been casting it where we get the +5 health to our maximum hit points, but you're casting at higher levels, you can get like 15 or 20 plus points each level that you cast it at, which I guess we wouldn't really be able to show that since it's a level 2 here. But each level that you cast it at increases it by 5 points if you want to use a high level spell for that anyways. We're going to end the episode after we're done here, unless it's a fight.
Look what we got here! Another little birdie wanting to fly! Stop this thing! Flap those wings some more, and I'll feed you a worm. And you! Hope you got a stomach for heights! What's it bloody look like? We're teaching this here pipsqueak to fly! 'Cause it makes me laugh! We ain't looking for company, maggot! Not unless you want to join him up there. How about this? You pay a toll and go on as you like, or else you fly. Cough it up!
As the symbol glows, power courses through you. Authority.
You're a true soul. I didn't know. Wouldn't dare question you, never.
Your mind lurches, reeling suddenly as if bitten.
We'll leave you to it.
Shadowheart's attention is fixed on a damaged old statue.
We should keep moving. I don't know exactly. Lady Shah, protect me. It felt oddly familiar, but I don't know why. I saw something that reminded me of my faith, my mission. felt something rise within me, like my blood was on fire. Then it passed. That's all I know. It's stopped now, whatever it is. Let's just carry on.
Alright, so more secrets with our companions here. So you have the two choices here, the brake lever, which will stop it so that we can free him, or release the brake lever, which is what we're going to do. And we have now completed the task of rescuing the gnome, and I assume we'll never see that guy again. Which again, can be a very important character. Look at how fast it's going. Wow. I'm really upset that we have not thrown any goblin jet in this series. I feel like we gotta pick one up and throw him. It's a very useful tactic for a stronger character. You just pick a goblin up and throw him at his friends. And it does damage based on the weight of whatever you're picking up and throwing, if you can pick them up, of course, because how heavy they are is going to determine if you can pick them up based on your strength. But yeah, their weight and your strength will determine how much damage you do to them.
Just out of view.
And yeah, we're going to take out this guy. And we don't have any sneak attack here, so we'll just do it this way. Get the critical hit. And just kill him while he's sleeping, because why not? And who's next? Yeah, this guy needs to end his turn. Just kill this guy real quick. And suck his blood. As that makes him bloodless, of course I killed him, so we won't get to see the exact effect of that, since he's dead. But you can see the happy modifier that he gets here. So he gets a +1 to all attack rolls, saving throws, and most ability checks.
Well, that ends. Well, not as bad as it could have.
Another interesting interaction you can have over here. I'll let you imagine what's going on there based on the sounds. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but you might want to pour bleach in your eyes after watching. I don't know. These are the guys who are going to ambush us, by the way. Up on this rooftop here, if we had just walked in here. Now we can walk around freely. So yeah, we'll be ending the series here. The next place you go for the story is to this goblin camp over here. That's where the story will take you. And it's another thing I really like about the game is that, you know, the bad guys, you know, they have their own camps, their own stores, their own side missions and story content with everybody being named. And you can walk around those areas whether you're you know, a good character or a bad character. So as a good character, you can walk around those areas and kind of like you know, betray them from the inside, because, you know, you're this true soul with the worm in your head. And so it allows you to, you know, walk around their areas with a bit of authority that you wouldn't normally have, you know, in such a situation. There's all these different ways to get in there as well if you want to sneak in. So there's this way here. There's another way on the other side. So you don't have to go over the bridge and through the front gate to, you know, basically have to like try and intimidate your way in or use your illithid powers to get in. There's also this little path here. Takes you through the back way here. There's another path here, which you could probably use a spell or a potion to get the really long jump and just jump across. You know, with the, you'd always have that feather fall so you don't take damage. And then going through this way. There's a lot of different ways to get into the camp if you want to sneak your way in rather than talk your way in. Or you can just straight fight your way in. There's a lot of different options. But that's where the story would have taken us. And that's a section I might end up showing at some point, because it's kind of a major section of the game. There's a lot of stuff to do in that goblin camp, so I thought about doing a video where I show all the different things you can do there, because it's an interesting location. So yeah, I really like the game, enjoying it quite a bit. It's a shame that we weren't able to play it longer, but obviously it's extremely unpopular on the channel. People really dislike it and are unsubscribing because of the series, and that's surprising. Wasn't expecting that, just expected it to have low views. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end the series here. Hope you guys did enjoy what you saw. I think it did show the game well. Showed you what the game had to offer, even if it was just a small little fraction of the amount of content that this game does have. Yeah, kind of a nice looking swamp here, right? Not too bad for a swamp anyways.
A chill runs up your spine. You feel like you're being watched. The place has a quiet sense of calm. You can't see anything strange.
So we failed our check there, so yeah, clearly there's nothing wrong with this swamp here.
Watch how you go.
And yet there's traps everywhere. So yeah, a lot of interesting content here. And that witch. Got some innocent looking sheep over here as well. That witch's hut is over here. And clearly we're walking through water right now and getting stabbed all along the way. Yeah, we have open wounds or bleeding. Those can get infected as well. Your open wounds. Maybe we'll see that happen here. So yeah, lots of little traps all over this here swamp. Yeah, this is her house here. Another interesting little storyline. I could show you guys all this stuff all day. There's so much to show here. Here's an interesting character as well, particularly with a Astarion in your group, and it seems he is coming down to investigate our bear. Everybody wants to see Ursa. But yeah, we're going to end the series here. Hope you did enjoy this very short look at this amazing game. And he really wants to follow us, doesn't he? But if you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. If you're looking for something else to watch, and check out the front page of our channel, you'll find a ton of content, all sorted by genre, so you should be able to find something that you'd enjoy. If you're looking for any links, check out the description of any of our videos. You'll find links to our PayPal, Patreon, and Teespring store. If you'd like to help support the channel, you also find a link to all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. If you'd like to follow us on that. And finally, you find a link on for our Discord if you'd like to join our community. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the video and the end of the series. Hope you guys did enjoy this short look at Baldur's Gate 3. It is a shame couldn't play it a bit more. I'm certainly a little disappointed about that. But yeah, it's just not popular on the channel. People are disliking it quite a bit, apparently. Again, I think the main issue is it just not fitting the audience that we have here. And so, you know, you got to play what people want to see. And I'll just continue to enjoy the game off camera until the console version comes out. And again, we will have those couple more videos too. We got a few more that we're going to be putting out on the channel.
Oh dear. Someone's left.
So yeah, lots of traps around this innocent, beautiful looking swamp. But yeah, we'll see you guys on another video, and thanks for watching.